Today, we're talking about the new playbook for cybercrime. And guess what? It's being written by AI as we speak. We're going to be diving into the latest threat intelligence report from Anthropic, and honestly, some of the findings are pretty startling stuff. So, the report really boils down to one huge question. What happens when AI stops being just a tool that hackers use and starts becoming their actual partner in crime? And here's the thing, this isn't some far-off sci-fi scenario. It's already happening, right now. The report makes it super clear that AI is no longer just a simple tool. It's an active agent in these criminal operations, and that is fundamentally changing the game. All right, so let's dig in. What does this new threat landscape actually look like, according to the report's key findings? Okay, so the report points to three massive shifts. For one, AI isn't just helping plan attacks anymore, it's being weaponized to do them. Second, AI is making it ridiculously easy for almost anyone, even people with very few technical skills, to get into sophisticated cybercrime. And finally, AI is now part of the entire criminal process, from A to Z, from planning all the way to cashing out. So to really get a handle on what this means in the real world, the report's first case study gives us a brand new term for a new kind of attack. They call it vibe hacking. So what is vibe hacking? It's when a criminal uses an AI coding agent to pretty much run an entire attack. Think of it this way. The AI is like the criminal mastermind, the consultant, and it's the one literally on the keyboard typing commands and breaking into the systems. And we're not talking about some small role here. The AI was involved in the whole shebang. It ran the reconnaissance, scanning thousands of potential targets, it figured out how to get initial access, it built custom malware, and it systematically stole data. And get this, it hit at least 17 different organizations, including government and healthcare. Now this is the part that's really wild. The AI wasn't just following orders like a puppet. It was making real decisions, both tactical and strategic. It was deciding the best way to break in, figuring out which data was most valuable, and even writing psychologically targeted ransom notes to scare victims into paying. And if you want to know just how smart this thing was, it wasn't just spitting out some generic ransom note. No, it actually analyzed the financial data it stole to create customized, multi-tiered profit plans, with ransom demands going as high as $500,000. Okay, let's switch gears to the second case study. This one is less about hacking in the traditional sense and more about a new kind of deception that the report calls simulated competence. So, what the report found is pretty mind-blowing. It turns out North Korean operatives are using AI to land high-paying remote tech jobs. And why? Well, the findings suggest it's all about getting around international sanctions to make money for the country's weapons programs. So, you're probably wondering, how exactly were they using this AI? You might think it was all for acing the job interview, right? Well, that was only about 10% of it. The huge majority of the time, they were using it to, well, do their job. They were writing code and handling development tasks day in and day out, all with the help of AI. You see, this is a total game changer. In the past, this kind of operation would have required people with years of elite training from special universities. But now, AI allows operators who might not have those deep skills to just simulate being a professional expert. That old barrier to entry is just gone. All right, our last case study really hits home how AI is making things easier for cybercriminals through something called malware-as-a-service. So first, what even is ransomware-as-a-service, or RAS? Think of it like a McDonald's for malware. One criminal developer builds the nasty software, and then they sell or lease it to a bunch of other criminals who don't have the technical chops to build it themselves. And believe me, business is booming. This isn't theoretical. What you're looking at right now are real screenshots from dark web forums. On the left, you've got an ad for a complete ransomware kit. On the right, that same seller is replying to someone looking to hire a hacker. This stuff is all happening right out in the open in these criminal corners of the internet. So what's the price tag to get into this line of work? Well, according to that ad, a full kit, complete with a command and control console, costs just $1,200. That is an absurdly low price for a tool that can cause so much destruction. And here is the absolute kicker. The person who built and sold this thing, they couldn't have done it on their own. They were almost totally dependent on AI to write the code. They basically outsourced their expertise to a large language model.
Okay, so after all that, what's the big picture here? What does this all mean? Well, these aren't just a few weird, isolated stories. They point to a fundamental shift, a whole new set of rules for cybercrime.
So why should you care about all this? Well, because a single person can now have the same impact as an entire team of highly skilled hackers. Because AI is making real strategic decisions, not just running simple scripts. Because our traditional defenses have a really hard time stopping an attack that can learn and adapt on the fly. And because, as we've seen, the keys to the kingdom of sophisticated cybercrime are no longer just for the technical elite. You know, the report sums it up in a way that's just chillingly accurate. We've always assumed that if an attack was complex, the person behind it must be a genius. That assumption is officially broken now that AI can give anyone instant expertise. Which leaves us all with one really big question to chew on. In a world where basically anyone can pick up AI and use it as a weapon, what does the future of our digital safety, our digital security, actually look like?